All right, hello there, everyone. Welcome back to not teaching the dailies, but spying the dailies, where I try to focus on spy play and just hopefully, teach you a thing or two about good spy play. So today, um, we are going to be starting off on ballroom, but let me remind everybody of the six things that I mentioned last time, and I'll just give a brief little rundown, and we can just get into the games here. So we have pacing, laser watching opportunities, party watching, mechanics, and cover. Pacing just refers to completing missions in a timely fashion, but also such that you aren't extremely behaviorally sus at any one point of the game. So, like an example of that would be like you're trying to do four missions at once, really, really late in the game, or say early on, you're sacrificing your pacing a little bit to like good pacing to be behaviorally sus just so that you can be done quicker. So typically, a nice balance is normally like good as long other if like other opportunities don't like come up with any of the other like five principles that I'm going to mention. But typically, pacing just means that you don't want to be behaviorally sus, but you also want to be doing missions and not logging like either doing nothing with no plan on how to like get the sniper to take a civ shot, or just blindly rushing missions and just throwing caution to the wind, even though it can be a good strategy sometimes, but most of the time it's not. Laser watching. Laser watching just refers to the act of watching the laser and getting information from it. So say after you do a hardtail, you want to be watching the laser to see the reaction. That way you can kind of gauge what your next mission will be. If you sense that the mission got by cleanly, then you are probably fine to just play normally. But if you sense some suspicion on you, then maybe you want to dial it back. Same thing, depends on how much time you have left in the game. But yeah, laser watching just helps you, probably the only one piece of information that you have during a spy game. So I think that if you focus on watching the laser a lot, then you will probably at least improve your game a little bit because you'll kind of know what the sniper is thinking. Opportunities just refers to being ready to take, any sort of, step to get towards mission win countdown that you can at any given point in the game. Just because, some things like are going to be there throughout the entire game. So like when you go to statues, but a good bug only sometimes comes once a game. And sometimes never. Same thing with the banana bread. A good like a good timing for something else. You got to take those opportunities when you can. Otherwise, you can find yourself getting into a lot of just moments where the sniper is just staring you down because you have no choice but to do something at like a really bad time. So make sure that you are taking opportunities when you can. Party watching just refers to watching the party and knowing what they have, because that is technically the other sort of source of information that you have. It's the party, whatever the party does, the sniper also sees, and the laser. So if you watch what the party does, you at least have an idea of what the sniper is also seeing. Um, no, I don't think anyone does this, but it's almost smart to like snipe when you spy. That way you can kind of be in the sniper's head at the same time, and then when you watch the laser, you can have better like sort of, I guess, judgment of what they are actually doing. So then finally mechanics. Mechanics just refers to how good that you do stuff. So like how good are you at pathing? How good are you at etiquette on spy? How good are you at, performing a really complicated bug? Stuff like that. And then finally, cover just refers to actual physical cover, but also like party cover as well. So like you see Buns just taking a really sus bug path and going to, maybe statues at the end of the game. Maybe that's when you want to maybe try and do a direct microfilm or like a purloin or something. That kind of cover, or just actual physical cover where like you're behind a conversation and you take a bug, or you decide to cheese a flirt just to increase your pacing a little bit better. That could any of that could be referred to as cover. All right, but our first game's on ballroom here against Psycho Sloth. You're always free to skip these recaps again if you've already watched the first one, but yeah, just giving a quick rundown. But anyway, let's start up the game here. As usual, I'm just going to instantly shoot and then watch the replay. So let's see what he does. All right, so Psycho Sloth starting out on red dress, and let's see what we do. So looking for a bug here, still an AI control. Now this wouldn't have been a bad time ad, but the fact that Ambassador's pretty safe means that it probably isn't a good time ad, because you could have went to the window spot next to General and Duke over here and maybe time added, like if say the Ambassador was next to Irish and Queen there or something. But right here, the party's extremely sparse. So when the party is extremely sparse like this, typically like a good idea is to either like I would avoid flirting when the party is this sparse because if you look, everybody is literally spread all around the venue. I believe that there's around 15 to 20 pads total on ballroom, and it looks like this party is literally on over half of them. So I think it makes no sense to be doing nothing here. I think whether or not you pick up an early inspect or something, you go to a bookcase. The sniper has to take in all this information separately. They're not just being able to say, okay, Ambassador and Toby, I can just zoom in at the same time like this, like they have to like really do a really weird angle to get them both at the same time. So, the sniper really sees this. Like you see, okay, queens of statues. Hopefully, if they haven't memorized statues yet, they have to keep track of queen. There's a couple people at windows. Generals at a green bookcase. So there's quite a lot of stuff to memorize here. And then ambassador's also at the front of the venue with a briefcase. So he's gonna be leaving there very soon, which is gonna open him up to bugs and a free briefcase. So I think starting out with an empty conversation is a little bit weird to me, and I wouldn't recommend doing this unless you're trying to really, make sure the sniper know you're not being behaviorally sus. But with so many people like in random places at the beginning of the game, I think if you went to like statues or something, you're not going to pick up any extra suspicion because typically, like if you're one of the only people that did something at the beginning of the game, you have a little bit more sus on you throughout the game and as it goes on. However, I think that it doesn't make any sense to not do something here, whether it's pick up a book, maybe try a microfilm. Yeah, remember, like I said, sniper has perfect information. If they're a good sniper, they're probably going to shoot you anyway. So what you really want to make sure that you're doing is just finding good chances to sort of throw like go all in, like shove in your chips and say I'm going to do this mission and I don't care. And this is a lot of talking and we've only seen the first 10 seconds of the game, but a lot of times this is the kind of stuff that needs to be going through your head. It's like, okay, what am I going to do? Because like the first game, the first state of the game typically is going to be the best chance for doing something because there's so much people active and people haven't settled into conversations yet. Um, so in this game, I know you're probably wondering, like, well, Astatine, you keep saying do something, but what should I do here? So bugging's a bad idea, and Bastar's completely safe, right? So obviously, probably if I'm sniping here, I know the spy is most likely not taking a bug. So Purloin, pretty easy to watch here because everyone's so sparse. So if it were me, I would either take a book, do an animation microfilm, or I would do an inspect. Maybe a side statue, not necessarily center inspects, but something like that. I would avoid flirting here because it's really easy to flirt pair with this sparse party. But yeah, I think you could go to statue or just even chilling here. I mean, it's fine, but just make sure not to get too behind. Like I would say this one cycle, even if Alice joins your conversation right here, which she does, and try and go to your ST. But yeah, so ST gets redirected, I think, from bookcase. And yeah, now the party's changed because notice how everything's moving, and so now like if you were at statues, they're not even paying you any mind on these statues, right? They're seeing the entire party move, and so they have to kind of like shift their attention from you going to from like say you going to statues, like for example Queen did, to everybody else. Now, this is when I would have just went next to Irish because now things are starting to shake up a little bit more. And I think flirting here is fine. You're not going to pick up any extra suspicion. Maybe you would against like the best snipers, but and then yeah. So right here, I mean, if I was a spy, I would be taking into account. Okay, Irish is going for a fingerprint. Queen, I'm pretty sure just had center. Yeah, Queen had center. You see Duke that started out a window pad going to now statues, ambassadors leaving another print. So this is important stuff to watch because if Irish goes to that statue over there, you could always get her with the civ shot because you're like, oh, she has prints. So, in the 45 seconds, in every single spy game, you always think to yourself, "Oh man, there's not much to watch. Like, my opponent's so boring. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, there's nothing to do here." And you just want to wait and not do anything. But, there's always stuff that you can be doing. And, even if you look behaviorally sus at the time, there's still 3 minutes left to play. So, like, what people have to keep in mind is that, like, you feel suspicion for every single thing that you do because you know you're suspicious, but the sniper doesn't inherently know that. So you going to a statue early on, it doesn't inherently mean that you're sus. It's just it could be an AI doing a statue. Like if I shot every single person that went to a statue early on, I'd probably only find this spy 20% of the time. So yeah, don't be afraid to do stuff here. So we're finally moving here, probably trying to head to the pad with Irish. Um, Going to blue book. No, we're just going to an empty pad, and I don't know if I like this because if you look at the party, yet again. So looking at the party here, if we're going to go to a neutral angle here, they're kind of on two different sides of the party. Ambassador's completely safe. You really need to start getting some progress here. There's only a minute left to play already. I know why we're late waiting at the patch just to see what Irish does, but we need to start getting some progress here. Otherwise, we're going to get behind way too soon. But anyway, yeah, our two fingerprints for the game right now are Irish in general, and Irish in general also could go to one of the statues on the left side, and that could make them get a little bit of suspicion. Okay. Yep. So it takes a drink. Goes next to our ST with a really weird path. That would have been sus if someone caught that. I'm gonna watch that from the sniper view. Uh, I probably would have been had this angle. Yeah, that was a little awkward, but I don't think it looked horrible. So not as bad as I thought it would be. So okay, still watching here. See, General goes to see now. This is when it like pays to watch the party because even though there's only a minute and 45 seconds left and you have like no mission progress, General is going to a statue, and if he goes to one of the bird statues on the left side of the venue, that would mean he would have print credit and he would have inspects. And that's already two missions. And if you weren't good about watching first as a sniper, you could credit him for being done with missions upon a BB happening. So suddenly it pays to watch the party, which is one of the things that I mentioned here. Especially if you're gonna solo play like this, you almost have to watch the party. But like right now, we have no progress. It's been 2 minutes, and already like if it were me, I'm thinking about a timeout here because Queen, who has yeah center inspects, sure, but nothing else. I mean, if you're Queen here, you're probably thinking about BBing soon, but just the fact that no BB has gone off yet and she's moving away into a different like location, maybe going into another yellow conversation, but uh. There should be a BB going off right now, and the fact that there's not makes me sus of either Queen for waiting too long or one of the people who's not in conversation. We picked up a fingerprint on the bookcase, so I'm assuming Salmon had the other one. I didn't even see this, but you could always, find this. And look, oh my gosh, General. Okay, okay, never mind. General went to center inspects, but General would have had inspects done. I thought he was going to one of the side statues, and I would have been like, "See, I told you." But no, he went to center inspects. But if you look at the party right now, if you were paying attention as a spy, no one actually has any progress for the time being. Ambassador's been safe the entire game, so Sniper doesn't ever have to really worry about a bug here. Um, this is why I think, had we gone statues earlier, if we wanted to mission complete, maybe that could have been a good idea to have some early progress, because now, if we want to complete missions, we almost have to do something instantly or like really quickly towards the end, and it's gonna be really behaviorally sus because we still need a whole print. We need one more mission after that, so like a print in the center inspects and BB just now at the end of the game. Gonna be very suspicious, but we'll see what happens here. And you might be saying, well, Astatine, doesn't it make sense that we didn't do anything the whole game because the party hasn't really been giving us that much? Because you keep saying there's no progress, but isn't that like a bad thing? And here's the thing, there's never really truly progress on a lot of AI in a game. So like you shouldn't just never do anything because AIs aren't doing anything. You should still do stuff, but like, that's when like so not the whole entire game isn't just memory based, it's also attention based. So like they could have you at a bookcase every single time, but like if they missed a microfilm, then you still get away with it, right? So like you're only sus when you either get caught for something straight up, when you are suspected for something, or you do something. So you know I think that people really misconstrue that line because if you go to statues at the beginning of the game, you're like, oh well, I'm suspicious and I shouldn't do anything else. I should just chill, and that's not always necessarily the case. Like in this game, for example, it looks like we're gonna mission complete here towards the end. I'm already kind of getting, I'm spoiling myself, but like, this is not a great played game in my opinion because it was just way too slow. If the sniper was really on top of this party, they would know that there's no progress anywhere to be seen. One of the top suspects, General, who actually has like one other mission, doesn't actually have BB because he's out. So, and if we were watching Queen there, we probably know she didn't bug. So you kind of know that the spy has to start doing stuff now because around this time. So behaviorally, this is why I say pacing matters because now you sort of like are going to ruin your game behaviorally. But obviously, you should see the game plan here. We're going to go to one of the side statues that has a print on it. Probably just going to go to another statue. And as a sniper, this is when it pays to just be on top of your prints. But you see, we don't get like highlight for the statue visit because I'm assuming that We just, oh, we actually swap. Okay, that's wild to me, but I guess it makes sense because we still technically need a flirt, so that's the only option. But this is what I mean. So like, I want to know how we don't find this because look at the party. The party's not doing anything. We are one of the only people who has actually done something in the game. Buns doesn't have a print. Ambassador is in a pretty nice position. Maybe Buns has a bug there, but probably not. Um, and we walk right past the ambassador. A swap goes off, and we don't even take this shot. So I think that this was just a very lucky game. From the spy side. Um, obviously not try yet again. I want to reiterate this throughout the course of this. I'm not trying to attack any spies. I'm just saying objectively, like this was a lucky spy game. The sniper should have had this game. Um, but obviously not every sniper is perfect. So you're not gonna snipe every single game, obviously, but you know, there's a lot of mistakes that the spy made, I think, just in the first 2 minutes of the game with pacing. And I think that towards the end, we should have gotten bit by it because if the sniper had, okay, even if they didn't have the bookcase, the fingerprint at the green bookcase, then they should have at least had one of the statue prints because I mean, Ambassador's been safe the entire game. Why? Because they've been at the left side statues where you can't really bug. I mean, you could, but you'd probably be getting shot right after. So even if we have one of those, we still only have 3 missions there if we have prints, and so that Spy needs to do something else. So like they just went to a statue, so that they're gonna swap, or they're gonna need to crash bug Purloin or go to another set of statues. So and since there's no other activity and it's already 30 seconds left, chances are you see Red Dress going from a printable statue to another statue when you don't have her having anything else because bug hasn't been done the entire game and she's only been at one bookcase. Then you can kind of easily just camp her out at the end there. And this is more like sniper sided, but I think a lot of the play on spy is sort of like determined by how people play sniper. So behaviorally, I would have been so sussed out by this statue print over here. Um, just because look at the party at this point, Queen, only has inspects, has just been idling otherwise. Like maybe has a okay, she has a reject actually at the end here. Um, but you see that nothing's been happen. So okay, I guess actually now upon looking back, maybe I guess you can make a case that like okay, there's a like Queen rejected here. So the sniper actually okay, okay, I know what I want to say now. Okay, I just realized. So, okay, I actually am wrong a little bit. The sniper's actually watching Queen's reject here and is trying to, and that's why we weren't watching Red Dress take this bug path because we're trying to see the Purloin. We noticed that the path happened and it's like, extremely suspicious, but the bug's not just obviously visible. And Queen rejected, which means that she could be finishing up Purloin and could be finishing up missions. But the Purloin would have gotten taken right now, which is why I would have said to not even worry about I would have said not even to worry about watching the Purloin here. So as a sniper, you see Queen reject here, right? There's 14 seconds left. There's no point in watching Purloin now. You should be watching Ambassador until the person who's about to take the list takes it, because now there's going to be a mission when countdown beeps at the end. And so, for example, Boots takes the list now, and now there's going to be beeping for like 5 seconds afterwards, and it has to be Queen after that because she's the only one who has a potential completion. If Queen was the spy, but she's not the spy. And Red Dress, who is the spy, I guarantee you did not see this little subtlety and had to go for the bug anyway because we had no other choice. But as you can see, we just got really lucky that the Purloin was under such fire towards the end. So we ended up actually getting away with it. But you see that there's a lot of mistakes with pacing. I mean, looking a minute and a half into the game here, we have no progress. I mean, let's go further than that. 2 minutes, we have no progress. We pick up a fingerprint, a green fingerprint, which is really, really good. Um, but yeah, had the sniper just been sort of more behaviorally aware, I think this game would have been a really easy game to snipe. Even if Queen had some progress, but even behaviorally, I mean, I think purloining this late is a little just not really likely. So uh, because like if I was Queen, I'd purloin maybe around like the 20-second mark. But I don't know. This feels like it is around the 20-second mark, but it feels just too late to me. And obviously a reject. It just I don't know. To me, it doesn't feel like Queen here. Even since I know who the spy is. So yeah. So I think throughout the game, we kind of had an idea, but but I want to sort of flip this on its head, right? Because like, say we saw Queen's reject, what we could have done is we could have simply waited to time it. So like, we know queen has center inspects. And so this is where I want to say, you can turn luck into what is actually an opportunity. And a lot of people think that, like, there aren't things like this, but there are if you snipe the game and you sort of apply these principles. So this is a perfect example, and I just thought of this. So what you want to do is you want to pay attention to missions, right? And I mentioned this earlier. Queen has a center inspect, and she has the 2 cycles, right? She rechecks at 15 seconds, so So if you're sitting right here, you know that, okay, the spy is going, or the sniper's going to be watching this, right? You see, we started walking before Toby rejected, so I guarantee you this was not planned. But so after you see this reject, you could sort of start walking towards the ambassador. The second it goes on to somebody else, because then you could basically be like, okay, the sniper's gonna be watching this purloin fade just to see who the spy is, because then if there's overtime beeps, that's probably who it's gonna be. Otherwise, I'm gonna have no clue who the spy is. So uh, you can manufacture it that way. And there's a lot of little things that you could do like that where, like, it seems like luck, but you could actually manufacture it so that it's not luck. Like, this play could have easily been like, calculated and been like, oh, I'm gonna go and, bug while the list is getting stared down by somebody who had rejected, who was at center statues. So that's one of the ways that you could sort of use the party to your advantage, take an opportunity to do a bug mission, or just any other mission that you need to finish up at the end of the game, and just do it and send it. So, um, yeah, I think this game, played way too slow in my opinion. Got lucky towards the end. Obviously we took the only path to mission completion we had, and it ended up working out. We didn't even finish flirt, so we could have saved ourselves even just all this trouble had we even just finished flirt, but we just ended up getting away with it. And it's funny because the sniper even saw the bug path, and I'm assuming we just didn't even take the shot because we knew Queen rejected, and so probably just assumed that Queen was a spy, but it was actually Red Dress. So I think this was a good first game, and really still yet again, I feel like shows one of the main issues with spy play these days is just pacing. But I think that, pacing is hard when you don't have a plan. So I think watching the party sort of gives you a plan, much like chess, how like your position is sort of determined or sort of determines your plan. You know what I mean? If you have weak squares on the king side, then you're going to want to shift your pieces over to the king side. Obviously without giving up anything obvious, like, same thing in Spy Party, you don't want to just take a random bug because someone's doing something and it's really obvious. You want to make sure obviously calculate stuff first and then be like, okay, this is what I can do. But yeah, so good first game here to exemplify my idea of like good pacing. So I think this game, could have been played a little bit better in all. I think it could have just been paced better. Um, but I like the mission. I like the mission craziness at the end there. I'm happy that it worked because I would have been so stressed if I had like no flirt done. Like if with a minute left to play, like we did basically like we did a rush. We did 4 missions in like 1 minute. So we did like a reverse rush. So okay. All right. And now Terrace. I also want to mention too, I think I forgot to even mention this. I'm leaving up the 6 principles there just because I don't feel like it's crazy distracting. Um, if it is distracting, I'll maybe change it next time. But I think I like it right now just because I just want you guys to, really be like thinking about that while you're watching the game. And I also think you can train yourself to just kind of like, ignore it. But okay, but we have Terrace here. So let's go. It is going to be Wrestler. Okay, so Salmon here. So Terrace is an interesting venue because it's a 3 of 7, meaning you only need one mission other than seduce and contact basically most of the time to finish. Um, and this is where watching the party is really going to be important because you want to know what people have because you know I would say on Terrace you kind of have a couple plans. You could do a purloin, and try to get a 50-50, and then from that 50-50 you can either like time out and try and frame the other person who's in that chain or in the 50-50 with you, or you could try and complete from there after the purloin. You could do inspects and challenge the sniper to shoot after seduce contact. You could try some crazy bug out in the open, while the sniper's looking at other things. There's a lot of different options you actually have on Terrace that I think people don't typically take, and they just kind of sit there, wait, and yet again, like the last game, they kind of just do stuff at the end. So I'm interested to see how Wrestler plays this. So a lot of movement around in the party right now. I want to see how much people go to bar at the beginning. We start next to okay, perfect green flirt. I don't even think we really need to run away yet. We could walk away soon. Ambassador doesn't go next to us, doesn't leave a print either. There's three people starting at statues here. We could go pick up a inspect next to red dress, and we wouldn't really accumulate any extra sus other than the other four people, but it always gives us an option at the end to finish. So I would definitely consider going to an inspect here with all the people at statues because you're just one of four people. You're not any more sus than the other people without like other things. So yeah. So our first print location is at the left side of the venue. So at this point, you probably should move next to Duke and finish up your flirt. Now, Nebula is a sniper that takes pathing lowlights, so that's one thing I want to mention. Sometimes you're gonna get a sniper who just lowlights for things, and say you're watching the party, and you're like, but wait, they have this. Well, sometimes they're gonna be low lit, so sometimes you'll be wrong. So nothing you can do about that sometimes. But I think that if you most of the time, if you just do a good job at like training yourself to look at that kind of stuff, like say, okay, I know who's been at bar, because Kane was at bar, but he got low lit. So right now in the spy's mind, Kane and Sari have been to bar, um, but Kane and Sari have been to bar, but Kane's low lit because Nebula took a pathing low light. But we're just idling out here right now. Yet again, I think that we really should do something here. Um, yep, good. I like that we went next to Duke, but he actually leaves us, which is really unfortunate. Goes to that original spot and then gets low lit. Red. Okay, okay, okay. This is what I want to say. So red dress has statues. So had we gone to a statue pad earlier on in the game, we could have went to another statue or later on and been in the same boat as red dress because red dress now has statues. If we went to statues, there'd be two people in the party with statues, and how do you discern one from the other? You take a 50-50 shot, or one of them is in BB, one of them's not, and you could frame the other person. So I think it's a very interesting sort of thing to. I think it would have been an interesting idea to go statues early on here, especially because a lot of people from bar aren't really being under scrutiny, and there's like no prints at the moment. So statues and delegate are probably your main options this game, and we didn't do statues early on. So now if we go statue to statue, it's going to be pretty sus. So let's see what we do here. Don't go for the briefcase, obviously. Uh, I don't know why we go to bar. If we were gonna go to bar, we should have followed our SC right after. Red Dress is picking up a print, which I already don't like for the spy, just because as the spy, if you already have inspects, you really aren't going to want to do anything extra. So behaviorally, I don't think it makes sense for Red Dress to take a briefcase here, even though the spy could. So we delegate, take a print, difficult, I think, or not? No, not difficult. Sorry, because Duke rejected. That's my bad. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Where does Red Dress go? Red Dress goes to the bar and actually picks up a difficult print. Um, I think now. Oh, let me look. So let's see. So yeah, this briefcase. Okay, funnily enough, Red Dress actually, if she took a drink. Okay, Red Dress did not take a drink. So, okay, never mind. I was gonna say, if Red Dress took a drink, Red Dress technically has prints and inspects, even though I think there's no way a spy would do that. With two difficult prints and then like a set of two sets of inspects, I don't know. It doesn't seem spy-like to me, but Red Dress with a reject here, obviously not very suspicious, and she actually gets low lit, probably for a path or just because she's just behaviorally not even sus. I mean, who wouldn't take that drink there? So at the moment right now, I mean, wrestlers let the game yet again slip away from them. I think obviously we can still mission win, which I think we are going to mission win at the end. But wheels with the difficult print, and yeah, the briefcase is just right now sitting. I think I think this print is dead. This briefcase is dead, so there's no print anywhere else. All right. So what would I do right here? Well, I would have done statues earlier on, and then you could have finished statues or something here, and at least tried and tested the sniper to see if he was willing to shoot for inspects. But I'm assuming we're gonna have to delegate. So perfect. ST comes next to us, so we get lucky. Should be a green flirt. All right, perfect. So looking pretty good. We BB, and at this point, red dress takes the list. And the sniper's reaction shows that he's not on top of this actually at all, which actually baffles me because I'm pretty sure we are one of the only people that have even had bar. So we should have been watching this. Yeah, Duke's a low light. It's only been Ambassador. Okay, sorry, but I think hers is expired very clearly. So, yeah, us and Wheels are the only two people with delegates. But he's not even in the. So Wheels isn't even in the real convo for BB. Meaning that the only person that could have even done this delegate was Salmon, even though Salmon does have one print, but you could easily still shoot for that. But yeah, I guess we just missed this. So yet again, I think we just get bailed from the sniper side because yet again, I don't really think that this was a greatly played spy game. I think we basically just idled and then just sent off a delegate at the end because we have no other choice. We gotta do missions because like you just look at the conversations. I mean, there's nobody else in conversation. Like there's no one else outside of conversation besides like Wheels. So like in theory, if you see somebody get sent to bar, I mean, you should just see it, right? Like you should know who it is, but we don't know who it is. So yet again, I think the spy just gets lucky that the sniper's just not on top of it and gets away with it. Because we got lucky that like RS even came to us at the end, and then DA settles in our conversation. But we're the only highlight in this. That's another thing. We're like one of the only highlights, and Wheels just got a drink, and like Redress is technically out for BB, so like the only person it could be is Salmon. Yeah, so I think this game, yet again, I think I would have just flirted earlier on. I think an Inspect at the beginning when everyone else was at Inspects would have been super interesting. Could have even gone like statue to statue if we wanted to do something crazy. Even Red Dress went to statues later on at the end of the game and could have just tested the sniper to shoot at the end. Um, because if the sniper was on top of bar here, I mean, we're just dead just because we're just dead. So, so we hoped for the sniper to make a mistake instead of taking Destiny into our own hands, which I think is a mistake. Okay, let's keep going here. Hopefully it's not balcony. Ah, gallery. Ah, my beloved gallery. My favorite. Well, my second favorite venue. I guess ballroom now is my favorite, but oh, what am I doing? I'm not sniping. I'm like over here like trying to snipe the game already. All right, let's see what we do here. So we should heat seek the ST here. Could also look where ambassador's at. Okay, good. I was gonna say there's no reason we could. Okay, so okay, well maybe not now because ambassador's right there. But I was gonna say we should twitch on the pad. Could also take like a crazy reverse drive-by bug here. Uh, It actually would have looked pretty good. We had a lot of cover here. So I'm going to go back for a couple seconds here. So if I had the spy camera, I'd be looking here. I say, okay, I could bug right here. And with the angle that the sniper is taking, this would not have been seen. Oh, never mind. It looks like we're about to take a bug anyway. So hold on. Okay, wait. I want to see this from the sniper's perspective. Okay, actually, I love this bug. Okay, so I take everything back. This is like the model. This is a model game so far. I think this is the exact opposite of the last two, where I'm frustrated because they don't do anything. This time we bug and we instantly take a seduce. So our pacing's already really, really good. And they're watching the laser. Well, hopefully, I don't know if they're actually watching laser or they're just like, I'm gonna bug. But if you see the laser, it's kind of doing some housekeeping stuff like low lighting, looking at people. The party is pretty sparse, by the way. Like there's people everywhere, and there's a lot of people clustered around the ambassador. So either the sniper has to just sit there and watch the people next to the ambassador or look at other things, and there's so much other things to be looking at, so they look at those stuff. So like rocker and buns, a purloin, low lighting, red dress, I think seeks at statues. Maybe he needs to get a look at the statue there. um, but yeah, so I think it's correct here, even if we were intending for it to be correct or not, that we take the bug there because the laser was moving. Take a briefcase here, which I also love. If you're not dead for the bug or you don't feel a highlight, this is just completely free, although it's a little bad that we have to take it, when ambassador's at the back of the conversation, because then we could just get like, credited with a bug anyway. But so far, I mean, I love it. We take a fingerprintable drink, which I didn't, which I missed myself. I didn't even see Ambassador take a drink. So, this game is just really good. I actually have no complaints with this game. I mean, this is how you should play. I mean, you're just one step. I mean, notice how like we were just one step ahead of the sniper like the entire game. And I think yes, the sniper, if they miss the bug, can still credit both Prince here if they were being really diligent about camping Prince. but we don't have a fourth mission, and like as long as we have 2.5 minutes to play here, so like now that we have all of our pacing stuff out of the way, if we're just smart about our flirts, and we did a contact, so if we're not dead here, I mean they'd have to shoot us here on some random bug that we might have done in the back of conversation and Prince, which I would not do. So now if we just flirt smartly, we're just gonna get a win. So yeah, right now I'm gonna skip ahead because I don't even think how it matters. It doesn't even matter how we play this game. Although man, this was such a oh my gosh, this was such a oh my god, and we had to do okay. I want to see what okay, never mind. Now I'm gonna watch the game. Okay, we should be moving right now just in case our ST puts a book back. Okay, but they put it back black and blue, so um I would join this bookcase the second Buns leaves. So I would be going, yeah, right now. Yeah, nice. Maybe went there a little bit too soon, but yeah, I agree. This is exactly when you wanted to go. Okay, we still have a minute and 50 left. I want to see how the heck does the spy screw this up? I mean, how do we need to like do something crazy? So, obviously do correct book etiquette here. Don't get shot for something stupid. And put the book back like right now. Okay, I don't agree with taking out the book because now we can't go to statues if they go to statues like we saw later on in the game. Okay, if they went to windows here, so I think what I would have done is I would have stayed inside the gallery for a little bit just to see where they ended up going, assuming that I didn't have a book in my hand. Yeah, we shouldn't even be reading a book here. This makes no sense. Don't read the book here. Just go flirt. Just go back in there. I mean, if you're not dead for a bug and Prince and a contact already, I mean, you're not gonna die for a flirt. Okay, and this is exactly perfect because like we could have just went back to the blue bookcase, without a book here. If so, my plan, what I was saying is we saw that our ST went into the window pad over here. What we could have just done is we could have just stayed and stayed in that blue painting pad right there. So I'll show you. So I'll this is my camera now. I'm moving the camera. So I would have stopped like probably like right, yeah, probably like right here and just seen and maybe just sat there for like 10 seconds or so waiting for the ST to come back into the venue. I also would have put this book back. I would not have taken this book out because this is just like if you, in case you need to take a really desperate for at the end and or if you need to go to the green bookcase after, I would have just left the book in the blue bookcase, but that's just me. And see now where now you see like oh, they're going back to the blue bookcase. So now I'm gonna go follow them back to the blue bookcase. But oh wait, there's another person there, so now I can't go there without being behaviorally suspicious. So, this would have been a free game because had we been on the blue bookcase, look, our ST would have been walking right by us, and we could have just now followed them either to this red painting pad over here, or back to the blue bookcase, or even just cut them off so that way they went somewhere else. Um, there's a million different things that you could have done here. So, yeah, again, we still have this blue book. I don't know why, but yeah, so we go from books to statues, which is a little unfortunate, I guess. But I wouldn't have even microfilmed this yet until I knew where the ST was landing, because I would have stood on the pad Alice is standing on, like right about here, and then that way I could see where ST is actually gonna go like end up. Just because I think sorry, just to see where they would end up. Because if they started going towards the center of the guy where I knew I couldn't get, maybe I'd have to take this book out. So it was a good insurance policy that we had the microfilm, but I think had we just played our flirts smarter, I think it wasn't even necessary to be completely honest with you. But that's just my opinion. And yet again, we probably could have been more aggressive at the beginning of the game with flirts too, because I mean this bug is completely clean. I mean there's no indication that they were on it, and the prints in contact were completely clean too. So I just think that this could have just been an easy game overall. I think we made it a little bit difficult. So I would say the first couple minutes of the game was perfect, and then the last part of the game we kind of just sold almost. But good spy win still. Definitely a lot different from the past two games where I think we just got lucky. Um, this game was kind of lucky because we could have definitely caught that microfilm. All right, so we have another ballroom game. See what the spy does. Kane. All right, let's see what we do. All right, let's see. So we start at a green bookcase here on AI control. Okay, I'm just making sure this isn't gonna be like all like AI control. So Ambassador starting out with a sort of common, like sort of like the same spot they started out last time. Twin. was first offer, but obviously doesn't reject, so can't do anything with that. Our ST is already at another window pad, so we can't join them there. So I guess here I don't mind starting at books, but we don't even take a book. Or no, we just put it back. Oh, we do take a book. Oh, that's interesting. This is a bug because for me it doesn't show that there is a book. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Normally, it would have this green sort of indication at the top left, but maybe if it's AI control, it doesn't register. So, okay, that's fine. All right. We take a bug path near the ambassador, but we very clearly didn't bug, so obviously don't worry about that too much if you're the spy. Okay, I would just leave and go flirt with him right here. I don't think there's any reason just to be sitting here, personally. We really just need to go and leave. Go flirt. There's no need to just sit here and do nothing. Especially because we already have a green book, so if we finish flirt, get a microfilm, we'd only need like center inspects, bug, or Perlian most likely, because we're not really trying to do prints at the moment. Okay, I mean the path looks nice, but like, you know, should have been, yeah, now I would say just leave. Like, so we talk, the ambassador's in motion, people are walking all over the place, just leave. Go to a window pad, go back and flirt again. Um, I think it's just gonna show you that like no matter how good the sniper you think it, how good you think the sniper is, like if you don't play good, you're just giving the sniper an even easier game. So like if you're scared that like oh the sniper's gonna catch my flirting, well they're gonna catch whatever you're gonna do at the last minute of the game because you don't have anything done anyway.
Banana bread.
Okay, take a real contact. I don't mind it, but it is important to note that we are one of 3 real BBs, so a little unfortunate for the spy there. In all honesty, yeah, and Minioric actually highlights that. So yeah, at that point, I probably am gonna take another BB at some point in the game, just because even in my conversation, there's only 2 people, and you could just judge by the laser. So yet again, watching what the laser does to see how suspicious the BB was. We returned their book correctly. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the BB is really unfortunate, and I think like since we didn't pace good at the beginning of the game, like at all, I would honestly commit to timing out here or trying to like frame somebody. Because I don't even think anybody has any mission progress. So this is just a rough game for the spy. The party's not giving you much here, and so I would say in one of these games, like probably nice to just do nothing, try and purloin like we're gonna do here, to try and get a mission by and try and tempt the type sniper to shoot, and maybe if they're not on top of something. But the real BBs are highlit, so we're gonna request a drink here because Queen just rejected. Why wouldn't we request a drink after Queen rejected? Because now a low light takes, and now we're the only person in the chain. So if this is a white, it's a white purloin, or no, it's not. It's a green, but Alice takes. But even if this list goes, I mean, yet again, same thing from the first game. You could just wait until after it hits 0 to shoot. So yeah, I think we should have purloined earlier. We should have purloined after Queen, in my opinion. So as soon as Queen rejected, we should have greened it because then we could have actually maybe induced a shot, even if it was onto ourselves. But um, yeah, I mean, this was just kind of a nothing game. Not much you really could have even done. I mean, there really isn't much to do. I mean, like, I liked the plan at the beginning where we just kind of, or I didn't like the plan at the beginning where like we take a book and then just do nothing with it, and we don't even take a seduce. So I think the BB was actually the mistake of this game because I don't think there's any need to take a BB if you have no progress. I think it's smarter to wait out like more suspects being in, if you're gonna have no mission progress versus taking a BB even if it's a real BB, but like you just don't have any way to finish. So then you knock out a bunch of people. If you don't have a lot of people in the real BB conversation, you risk somebody else having low people in the a yellow conversation like they're in this game. So like your conversation, the spy's conversation had, let's see, yeah, him and Alice, and then the other one was literally Buns and Teal. So, or is that Teal? No, sorry, that's Salmon. Sorry, not Buns. Uh, so Teal and Red Dress technically were in that little space as well, but with not a lot of real BBs highlights, I guess. Pretty hard game to win for the spies. So, but yet again, it's just another game where like
Banana bread.
you just need to do something at the beginning. Like you need to do stuff for your pace. Like most of the pacing for a game is going to happen within the first minute. If you screw that up, you're going to most likely have no options to finish towards the end. and you end up with this game where like you have no choice but to take a purloin to try and induce a civ shot, but even that's too late because you waited on it, and you just lose because you timed out and you didn't do anything. Pacing is like the number one issue I see from spies. I would say so many people are just way too slow, and I'm not talking about people like Rob who have a plan at the end or like are trying to combine two missions smartly at the end because people combine missions smartly at the beginning of the game, with rushes. So, but I'm saying that like doing things when the party is not giving you anything is behaviorally bad, and you're gonna get punished for it by a good sniper like 100% of the time. This is gonna be the final game here, I think. It's gonna be Veranda. So we have another Kane game. So let's see what the sniper does. So right here, I would have cheesed Purloined. However, the ambassador actually near us, so unfortunately you can't do that. But what we could do here though is we're right next to the ambassador, and assuming that they move before us, we could take this book out. But yeah, I'm a fan of just putting the book back. Could always bug here, but a little too aggressive. The sniper is just dead watching it and or just on it, and there's no cover. So smart that we wait. We can't get in with our ST, so could always thinking about time adding here because the party is still pretty sparse. Could go to a statue. I don't hate time out here. In fact, I'd actually like to see one because the ambassador is on the other side of the venue, and I don't think that we like. Why would we even be watched here? Like people are gonna be watched on the other side, especially because like now there's another person on that left side. All right, but anyway, there's now a spot in that conversation for to flirt. Even though the entry's kind of bad, I mean you kind of have to go flirt here. Veranda's kind of a hard game to pace out. Could always keep in mind where the ambassador is to try and get Prince. And so, okay, I'm. I don't know. Let's see. How good would this bug have been? Yeah, I mean, you probably could have got away with a bug there on the way to end the conversation. But yeah, I agree. Could also bug right now. Could have also BB'd and then bugged. Would have been an option here. Um, you had multiple plays here. I mean, this it's a 5-of-8 venue, so you got to take risks at some point. So I would have either just standing bugged after contacting, or like upon seeing the laser move, I would have bugged. Because if the laser's moving, that means it's gonna be harder for them to watch a standing bug happen. You could also Twitch bug there. I think is probably the best play. But we don't do anything, so I disagree with that. So yet again, I already hate our pacing, and we're probably going to time out. And I haven't even looked at the bottom of the screen yet to see if we're going to time out, but there's 3 minutes left, and we still need every single mission. I actually hated that we timer flirted here. If there was still space in the conversation, we could have moved away. Like right now, I want to see us take this bug, but okay, now it makes no sense because now we are moving. Okay, this makes no sense. Why would we move out of conversation here? Yeah, I don't understand this. I don't know why we moved out of conversation there. Because the flirt corner was going to expire. Why don't just wait 3 more seconds as we like we would wait? We've been waiting for 40 seconds. Like you would think you could just take the take the flirt and then walk away and then do something, but we leave before we do the flirt. We also request a drink and just take a drink. So okay, it has a fingerprint on. I was gonna say I'm like we do not need to just be taking innocent drinks. We need to be doing stuff. And okay, our SC actually leaves, but we actually are able to follow them. Oh, she's going to that conversation though, I think. Oh no, she's going to that window. We need a timeout here. I mean, you need a timeout here. The game's slipping away from us. We don't have any mission progress. You really need a timeout here. If we don't time out, I guarantee you we will time out, or we will literally be the most suspicious person over the course of 30 seconds in like the final minute of the game. So yeah, again, we're just in an innocent conversation. I don't know what we're doing here. We need to go do something. Whether it's go to an inspect, go to a bookcase, try and maybe just cheese a direct microfilm. Because at some point you got to take a risk. You should have took that bug. Then you would have had some options, but you didn't. And that's one of the opportunities that I mean. So like sometimes you get like one-time opportunities like that to take a good-looking risk during a game. If you see the sniper laser moving, that's when I would have twitch bugged, because then it's like not as obvious that you just bugged. And Kane's arm is always at his side, so it's not as easy to see a snapback. But I agree with the Thatcher's inspect here, but probably should have done this like a minute ago. We need to time out here, so either going to like the left side of the venue, the other side of the venue to time add. Um, I don't like a BB here yet because we don't have enough missions. I would much rather we get more missions before we BB here, just because we're now knocking out other people. That since we're gonna have to rush at the end of the game, we are now letting off some lowlights on people who could take away like some suspicion off of us. We're getting safety off on Teal. It's hard to watch missions on Veranda because you can't see the entire venue. Um, so Veranda really just is very much one of those games where you actually kind of just have to play a good enough game to like just get past the sniper. But of course you can still watch stuff. Yet again, I don't know what we're doing here. Um, because okay, time ad's fine. Okay, we should just go back to this flirt. I mean, it's a free flirt. Why don't we just go back to flirt? What are we doing? I mean, we could take another time ad. Okay, but why are we doing books now? This okay. That's fine. We go for a difficult, but it fails. I would like another time ad actually. Like I would actually go to this spy spot right behind us here. This window right here, I would time ad right there, like right now, because the ambassador's on the complete other side of the venue, and the sniper's attention is going to be split. So it would have been a nice time ad, hopefully, but we don't take it. So we still need another inspect. We're going to time out most likely. I mean, we have to go to green books. Gonna have to bug. Yeah, we're just waiting for the print to be available. But like, there's no threat to the sniper because we don't have any missions. Wait, okay, now we're going to flirt. Oh my gosh. And then they leave. See, this is what I mean. Okay, now we have no choice. We have to purloin. Is it white or green? Please tell me it's green. It's white. So naturally, yeah, purloin's gonna be gone. The sniper's gonna see that. I mean, it's just now the sniper's clock is at 0 technically. So if the spy finishes missions, there's gonna be beeps. Okay, we do another prince. Fine. There's just not enough time. We just were way too behind on this game, I think. And we end up running out of time. So, yet again, I think that we needed to take this bug. We need to be better about flirting. If we were better about flirting, like, look at how bad we were about flirting. So, if we were going to do anything with the green buckets, we should have just went right to flirt after that conversation opened up. I also would have the second I saw this conversation close and the ambassador on the other side, I would have went for a timeout here just to give us 45 extra seconds in case this conversation takes a little bit of time. So we end up going right to this conversation, but like you don't even need to stay really. I mean you can and you would have got the bug that way, but this should have been a bug. I mean, in my opinion, this is the most free bug ever. If you're gonna try and take a bug on veranda, if you get caught, you get caught. But I mean you timed out anyway and didn't really do anything meaningful the entire game. So I think the bug here would have been the best option. But now we should just leave because now there's nothing for us in this conversation. Just leave. Time ab. The ambassador's on the other side of the venue. Just go pick up an inspect somewhere. Animation microfilm. Go next to the window pad near ambassador to try and pick up the briefcase. You have to do something on veranda. You have to pace yourself and just do missions over the course of the venue. Otherwise, you're just going to lose anyway because you're going to get timeouted. If you're not trying to frame somebody, that is. But even then, it's hard to frame on 5 of 8. So, okay, we leave here. Um, we leave here before the flirt, like literally right after the flirt cooldown basically is up, without taking an extra flirt, which makes no sense to me. Get the print off the drink, which I agree with. I'm assuming that we actually left this conversation for the drink print, but I mean, have we been better about it earlier on? I mean, we idled for like 2 whole minutes, so we wouldn't have even needed to leave. So we're going back. It's just, yeah. I mean, it's just painful because like you probably could have had flirt, like at 80% by now. You should have you should have time at it like 3 times, 3 different times this game, in my opinion. Even if you got caught for the timeout, it's just whatever. I mean, timeouts are risky inherently, but like I said, you have to take risks on these 5 of 8 venues. Um, all right. So yeah, this game was pretty. Yet again, this is just another example that like pacing just ruins spy games. And like, I'm not saying to like, oh, you should go bug right at the beginning of the game, then you should go purloin and then BB and then just flirt all before like 1 minute's up. Now, I'm not saying you should do that, but what I am saying is that like flirt is a really easy mission and you're not gonna get caught for it most of the time. So you have to be a little bit aggressive about that. Missions you have to be a little bit aggressive about. Like don't get complacent and just say, "Oh, I'll do it later," because now later's come. And if you procrastinate, then you have to look behaviorally sus in the last 30 seconds. And listen, we did nothing all game. We get highlight just for picking up a briefcase after we see the list gone. And we did nothing all game, and the spy was still able to be on that, even with a time ad. So after 5 minutes and 15 seconds, we just end up timing out. And we don't even have 4 missions. We have one that was a white purloin. So just a very big example that like pacing is everything. Opportunity, like yet again, this game would have been more opportunity and pacing. I think was where the spy went wrong. I think you have to take this bug here. This bug is beautiful. You have a lot of cover from the party, which is another one. See, um, and Twitch bug would have went under mechanics. So you probably could have done a Twitch bug, and the better you are at it, the less you'll see your move. And yet again, watching the laser. So like all these principles that I put up here on the screen have some sort of a meaning towards just one play in the spy game, which would have been taking that bug. That bug, if we took that bug, it would have encompassed all of this. Because that's what a good player would have done. They would have taken a bug there because like okay, Ambassador came to me, so this is therefore an opportunity for me to, get a bug buy without being behaviorally sus for it because I didn't go next to the ambassador. Could have done a Twitch bug. That would have been under mechanics, knowing how like a Twitch bug would work and how they could, get away with it. And then, watching the laser to make sure that, they're moving around that way. If the laser's still, they know that they're probably being watched. But if it's not moving around, then, and if it's not moving around, sorry, they're being watched. If it's moving around, uh, the sniper is probably watching other things and or, is going to miss that little subtle movement when they inevitably do twitch. So, yeah, if we had the bug, we got that print or we could have just done prints and then inspects and contact, and that would have been a good attempt, in my opinion, at a spy game. And actually, you're actually giving the sniper a threat. When you do these really slow games, you aren't threatening the sniper in any way, and so the sniper never feels bothered to take a shot. And even though we flashed on teal, I think halfway through the game, we didn't even take a shot. So, and you're not really going to get a lot of civ shots on a 5 of 8 venue. You more so just have to get stuff by the sniper and hopefully hope that like that they just miss what you do because a bug is attention based, right? So like even with a sniper with perfect memory, you could still win against them because you could do a bug, microfilm animation, and even like a purloin or like an inspects or something or in contact. Like the sniper has to be watching these things for it to happen. So if you abuse that one fact, you abuse the attention that the sniper gives stuff, then that's when you can, that's when you start to improve your spy game. But when you just wait around, do nothing, pray that something comes to you, that's just trying to get lucky. That's not how you improve a spy game. You have to really, look at certain things and say, okay, what do I think the sniper's looking at? What information do I have? What can I do with it? How can I make a calculated decision to go for the best percent chance of winning this game? So, timeout is a really good strategy, but like we didn't try to time out this game. We tried to purloin. We didn't try to watch anybody for a frame game. We just tried to wait out the clock and then just try to do stuff. But our pacing was too bad, and so we got behind. So, yeah. Um, that happens a lot in a lot of I think newer player or like intermediate games where like they're just scared to do stuff because they're like, oh, I'm sus. But you just have to do stuff, and it's all about testing the sniper. It's all about making the sniper have to make a decision because sometimes they won't make that decision to shoot and you'll actually get away with something. So, you know, test the sniper. I think that's my number one tip. Obviously, you're free to switch games up if you're in a comp set. You don't have to play fast or like super aggressive or, a really well-placed game every single time. Sometimes you are afforded the luxury to just time out and do nothing. And, BB at the end of the game, pray that like someone gets shot and no one does while you tried, and you showed the sniper that you actually are willing to time out. So, yeah, so that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I think five good replays. An alternative title for this series could just be Astatine ranting um, about pacing, but I think probably better that it remains Spy in the Dailies. So hope everyone enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. And as usual, if you ever want to reach out on Discord, it's Astatine Effect. I'm always you're always welcome to ask questions. But that's gonna be it for this video, and I will see you guys next time.